Okay, so I've decided to do this on camera, the stitching. I've got my stopwatch ready, but I don't start it until I'm ready. 4.0 is the thickness. So I look at the chart. 4 is for the scalp, the chest or abdomen or back, the limbs or the hands. Monofilament, usually non-absorbable, but if it's the chest, abdomen, back, or limbs, it may be absorbable or non-absorbable. Horizontal mattress, vertical mattress, simple interrupted, those things require two hands. So I don't open this till after the timer is started. I don't need two, I just need one. I left these stitches in, and they're still holding, so they're actually it's like a muscle contraction, right? They're actually keeping this thing in this shape. I could try to redo this one. This was actually a race that I did with a guy who's a doctor, one-handed stitching, and I beat him. Like he screwed it up, but I know that was the subcuticular running. That's right. But I did beat the doctor in a one-handed stitching race. Yeah, subcuticular running, and that was the one that was doing great until that final knot, the stitch broke, and I don't think that it's feasible to re-stitch the wound because the skin is already compromised and weakened by all the punctures from the first stitch attempt. I've got another one on the way. Now, in theory, these triangle stitches, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, they should be about equal the length of one of these longer ones. We'll see. I've been doing simple running because that's just been what's working the best for me. I don't know how it's going to work with the triangle wound, but, I'm pretty sure the goal of one of these is to suture all three closed, which will be interesting. And here we go. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Is that weird that I have a song in my head that doesn't exist outside of my head? And then I've been singing it in the most annoying variables. Variations. Now, one aspect of the stopwatch is to simulate the race the clock thing. And it made me realize that Hollywood also uses that sound effect when simulating when trying to elevate the heart rate of the viewer, right? Particularly in hospital shows that show medical scenes. Now, this particular non-absorbable monofilament is annoying. It's like fishing line, so it's really difficult to tie a knot with this, especially in this poor lighting, but we'll do it. Oh man, if only I could lift up the camera or had a camera person. Anyway, I'm going to set my anchor point first. I've never done a triangle stitch before, so I'm going to set it on the outside of the edge. Oh shoot. I put my scissor lock tweezers. I'm not even sure what these things are called, but I put them away. Anyway, so one aspect of the stopwatch is the whole race the clock concept. For my set knot, I have been doing a bowline backed up by half hitches. Lining is always good, especially for stitching. Excuse me 1 second here. Now, yesterday I managed to secure the knot really fast, but I took up way too much time reinforcing it with half hitches. There's been other stitch knots where I successfully did these bowlines, which were a self-tensioning knot, which means that as I tighten it, the loop gets smaller, but it doesn't lose the knot. And I successfully did these without reinforcement of the overhand or multiple half hitches. The when I first started with the stopwatch, the average time for me to set this knot was 7 minutes. Yesterday, I accomplished it at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which was a significant improvement in time. But a factor in that may not have been my practice making perfect, but the material the suture thread is made of. Because this stuff's just a fucking pain in the ass. Alright, the Christian University kicked me out for offensive tweets, so I think I can cuss without worrying about the fucking Liberty University police, SWAT teaming me for cussing on Twitter or YouTube or wherever this is going. There's a whole update that I could do, but I don't feel like it. It just feels petty. The whole experience. Anyway, we're just going to run with a bowline on that for now. And I'm going to run the time is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Talking could be delaying me, but also the type of material. This string is really tense and moves a lot on its own, so much more difficult to tie a bowline with this type of string than the other type. First, I run the hook through the loop, and then I use my teeth to tighten it. Teeth does not work. Sometimes I will use the thumb and forefinger to pinch, but I can't get a hold of it. Or I'll use this, because fuck it. There you go. Yeah, nice and tight. Perfect. Okay. Now that is a proper set knot. Knot is set at just 5 minutes. And it's coming undone. So apparently I do need to back it up with a half hitch. Or, well, if it's a half hitch, it's going to be more than one. But if it's an overhand knot, then it should be just one. This material. This damn string. Why did I... Well, I mean, I didn't know it would be this annoying fishing line, but... Anyway. What are you going to do, right? Do. And that's fun. So because I'm racing the clock, I'm simulating, patient is bleeding out. We have to stitch this fast. If we don't get it stitched, blah, 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 blah. Simulating pressure, right? In a pressure situation. I mean, it's just a simulation. Of course, it's not the real thing. I don't have people screaming at me. I don't have victims in triage or anything like that. But it does increase the mental, clock that you're racing against. It increases the speed at which you want to get this done. Just having the stopwatch timing you. Tick, 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 tick. And so it will, in theory, at least increase my capacity to focus under stress or pressure. The overhand knot is not working, but the half hitch did. Let's try it out. You have a winner. Set not officially set. 6.5 minutes. Why is that song in my head? Doesn't even exist. Oh, these type of wounds would have been great for subcuticular running. Well, I've already started simple running. Now, another aspect of this, hypothetical, theoretical practice. Oh, wait, which one is the one for suturing up wide wounds? The horizontal mattress. That's what I should be doing. That just looks like a pain in the butt because it's one per thread. So I'm just not going to do that. going to stick with simple running. Man, but these are deep wounds. So at some point when I'm not racing the clock, like in the next triangle wound here, I will actually have to go slow. It could take even up to an hour and do the horizontal mattress in a triangle. And, you know, a three-pointed wound or whatever. Like that wound from the first Gladiator before they ruined it with a black Caesar and wrap. Fucking Israelis. Oy vey. Oy vey. Alright, so it is pinching the wound shut. That is a good sign. That means it will actually hold it and keep it sealed. And even waterproof. Or watertight. Not only will it keep it from bleeding out, it will stop liquids from seeping in to the wound. Obviously, if this were a real wound, there would be a lot of blood and potential risk for infection. So we would want to disinfect first. Or even without hydrogen peroxide, add a triple antibiotic cream or something like that. But because this is not one of those wounds, a real person, I'm just going to focus on my stitching technique. Which, practice. I've been doing this every day for a little while now. I quit when I was going to Liberty Campus every day, but they got mad at me for offensive tweets. So, I'm no longer allowed to go to campus. Where the fuck did the scissors go? Yeah. There's a little tail hanging off from the set knot, and it's getting in the way. It's getting snagged. Oh, half hitches. Alright, beautiful. There's a little opening on the edge, and I am not trained or certified. I bet there is a special technique for this, because I have hit the three-way intersection for the wound, and I have a theory about what I should do. And so first I am going to try my own theory, essentially. Try my own technique, and well, if it works, it works, and if it does not, it does not. Looks like it might not. In that race with the doctor, the string slipped out of the needle for him. But even before it did, I had completed my stitch in far less time than he had completed his. So, but he ended up announcing that he's getting married to this beautiful Jewish woman at the church. Young, attractive. She's like 23 or something. She's a nurse at emergency intake for psych. Lucky guy. So yeah, I won the stitch race, but he wins at the game of life. Alright, so what I'm doing is a three-way stitching technique. And in theory, this should pull it all together rather well. That is an annoying thing about Liberty banning me, is there was beautiful young college women who were finding me attractive. Christian cock blockers. But what are you gonna do, right? Yay, it's working. Whatever happens, at least I'll be able to give good stitches. Yeah, oh, can you see that? It's pinching it shut, see? Right at the intersection of all three. At any rate, I want to do a whole video about Liberty banning, but I really don't. Posting these videos to the internet really doesn't change anything. The globalists controlled the masses with the technology, so yeah. Oh, what a pity it is when wisdom is of no profit to the wise. To quote Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Ooh. But the triangle stitch is a success. It's a perfect success. And we are still under 15 minutes. We are at 13 minutes. All right. Doing good. See, and I learned this from living on a sailboat and sailing a lot. Even when you're under pressure, rushing and giving into stress and hurrying things up can ruin things. It can cost a life. You make mistakes when you're stressed under pressure and racing the clock. So it's smart to breathe, go slow, don't get frustrated, take your time. I think I just altered the point of this needle. But I'm not frustrated about it. I'm going to use this to my advantage. Or disadvantage, jeez. This poor guy. We'll name him Larry or George or something. Wow, how sensitive the tip of that needle is. I'm just going to reshape it real quick. There we go. No, still bent, still warped. Well, that's a first, but that's how you learn. You can't learn unless you're willing to make mistakes. The important thing is that you try your best. Even if you end up banned from campus and expelled from Liberty University. All that matters is you tried your best. But now that I've made this mistake, I will know not to repeat it in the future. And should this real life situation occur, that mistake will be avoided because I made it in practice. Whoa! It's even closing the suture with the stitches being far wider apart because of that triangular, stitch. Oh man, that is awesome. Motherfucker. But warping the tip of this sewing needle. Man, that was a real bad fuck up. There we go. Alright, we are doing perfect. Holy crap, this is way better than I thought it would be. Now, I could stop, tie this needle off, or this, thread off or whatever, and get a new needle that doesn't have a warped tip. However, this one, it still works, and if I were racing the clock, such as the patient is bleeding out, unless I stitch them up, well, there would simply not be time to get a new needle. What cost me the most time in this one was talking. But also the fuck up on the needle. That was a bad one. Because only the tip was sticking out of the surface of the fake skin. And I grabbed it by the tip, but couldn't get the rest of it, which was anchored pretty deeply. Because this is a deep wound. Some of the wounds are shallower than others. Time is at almost 18 minutes, 30 seconds away. Well, 15 seconds away now from 18 minutes, so. But that's how we learn. That's how we get better with practice. And practice makes perfect. We are ready for the set knot. So the way that I'm doing the finish knots, I don't know if you could see this, but I'll try to make it so you can. Is I'll start with the first loop. I'll thread the needle right at the end of the wound. The lateral edge or whatever, the opposite edge from where I started. I know I can't move a real person's skin like that, but I can adjust myself. Push the needle through. Pull it all the way so the thread goes through both sides of the end of the wound to close it completely. Oh, nice fart. And that is where I get the needle and run it underneath the string through the opening so it doesn't puncture the skin and cause the patient any more pain. Now this creates the opportunity to create an overhand knot, but that is a loose knot. This does not hold the tension. So then I create a second knot that is past the wound edge. Man, this needle's so fucked up because I ruined the tip with the scissors. I tried so hard. In the end, he lost his bladder. I think I could have been a good medical person. Anyway, so I do that, pull it again. Oh man, slacking. We're at 20 minutes. And I tie a couple of second half hitches around both strings to really create tension and tighten it. In the end, it doesn't really matter. Or overhand knot, actually. This is going to be an overhand. But that gives it the right amount of pull and anchoring strength to keep the tension. And therefore, this string has the constant tension to pull the wound shut and keep it closed. Not just for a short-term period, because according to the chart, some of the stitches, depending on where they are and what they are, have to stay in for 7 to 14 days. So, these wounds have been kept shut with my stitches. All right, we are done. Bam. Oh, terrible. 21 minutes. That's what I get for talking so much. Yeah, but these wounds have been kept shut with proper tension for 7 to 14 days, I believe, is the minimum. Where do those darn scissors go to cut the string? I had surgical scissors. I just had them. Don't know where they went. Yeah. This long one here and a couple of these other ones have been there for over 2 weeks, and they are still holding pressure and keeping the wound shut. They're not pretty. It's not uniform, but it is keeping the wound shut. It is performing the function, and function is more important than cosmetic. So I am proud of that accomplishment. But I really liked it yesterday when my time improved, so the next time I do this, I'm not going to do a video. I'm not going to talk so much, but I will also figure out the quicker knots, because the more that I practice, I know knots. I used to be a climber, and then I lived on a sailboat. This is actually, geez, like 20 or 40 feet of line. And I did, a daisy chain with a double figure eight and a double barrel knot and a quadruple bowline, actually. Quadruple barrel knot. I say it's four. I folded it so it was four out of one, and then, the daisy chain and everything. So I'm really good with knots. But the more that I do the bowline backed up by the overhand or 2 half hitches with this tiny string, the better I'll get at it. And the better my time will get. So that way, if I'm ever in a situation where I do need to give stitches, I have practice and will be good to do it.